Good afternoon. Welcome to the EPALE UK How-To webinar. My name is Johnny Lear. What I'm going to do is going to use our webcam just to introduce myself. And I'm the content coordinator for EPALE UK. Hello. I hope everyone can see me okay. Yes, I'm the UK content coordinator for the National Support Service. And I lead on the development and publication of UK content on EPALE. I manage user uploads, translations, and I support on technical queries, as well as sourcing relevant up-to-date content for the adult learning community. So today's session we'll talk through registration. We'll talk for the your user profile, some of the latest updates we've done to EPALE, in terms of making your organisation or individual profile stand out, uploading content, and then finally exploring EPALE's unique community space, practice and collaborative spaces. As I said before, there will be time to stop and ask questions along the way, but rest assured you will also receive a full list of Q&As from today's session as well as yesterday's, as well as a recording of your chosen session. You have to excuse me a little bit. We're suffering with a bit of flu epidemic in our office, so if I say sound a bit throaty, I'll probably have to take a couple of breaks, just have a bit of water. But as I said, we'll get cracking and let's get started. So I'm just going to close down my webcam and then we'll get looking at the EPALE. Okay, just give you an overview for those who are new to EPALE. Some of you who are already registered will know a few of these from your time in registration and a couple of the facts that we have on there. So EPALE is a multilingual open membership community for teachers, trainers, researchers, academics, policymakers and anyone else with a professional role in adult learning across Europe. There are over 17,000 registered users. And we have 42,000 visitors on average to the platform every month. Altogether, there's 35 national support services across Europe. And for ourselves, the UK National Support Service, we represent England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland to ensure that adult education and adult learning has a voice in Europe. Collectively, that's across all the 35 NSSs and our central support service, which manages the EPALE platform. We have 70,000 followers on Twitter alone on the social media channel, which just shows how big the community is. So, for those new to EPALE, I'm just going to quickly take you through to registration and onto the portal. So this is the EPALE website. So for those who are new to EPALE, to get involved and make use of all our community features, you'll first need to create an account. So you would go into Register. And once you're through onto here, you'll have to complete the information. All those fields marked with an asterisk do need to be completed. If you for any circumstances that it's not recognised, you don't fill, don't worry, I'm putting a reminder for you. And on the left hand side are the tabs. We'll find that a couple of our top tips and reasons for registering onto EPALE, along with why you have an EPALE and what's the purpose for. So once you've registered and completed all the fields, you'll get a new window with an open message explaining that you have now subscribed, and then you'll get an email validating your account. This is one way of signing to EPALE. I'm now going to go take you through the login process and some of the updates we've just made recently. Okay, so when you come to log in, you'll get a new tab window open up in the center of your screen. And today we're going to obviously log in via the EPALE platform itself. You can log in via ECAS if you've got an ECAS number. Just a reminder, if you've forgotten your login details, if you've forgotten your login details on ECAS, click lost your password. You'll be sent an email with instructions on how to reset this, but please be aware you need to do this within an hour and a half of receiving that email. Please note that ECAS accounts are part of the European Commission information system and outside EPALE's control. If you subscribe directly to the EPALE site, click on Login on the icon on the top right-hand side corner. If you've forgotten your details, click on the Request New Password at the bottom of this tab here, and you're prompted to submit your email address or username. An email will be sent to your inbox. That will be the email that you set up your account with instructions how to reset your password. If you experience any difficulties, please contact the Central Support Service Help Desk, and that's helpdesk, all one word, at epale-support.eu. Okay, so now we're going to take you through to our homepage once you've logged in. And everyone should see this now, yeah? Okay, the first thing you'll notice new for those who are already registered onto EPALE is that we've incorporated a new profile complete bar. Basically, this is a percentage showing how much of your user profile has been complete, and also of how much you need to add in, and it didn't add in there. If I just go onto my account, so I've set up a demo version here. You'll see, again, at the top of the screen, you'll see the progress bar and a couple of helpful hints and tips in terms of completing your profile. You can see already we're at 47%. If I click on Organisation Website, that will take me down to editing my organisation's webpage. We do encourage all users to try and fill as much information as they can as possible. This builds up your profile for any visitors to the platform and other users, and it's also good insight for them if you upload any content to get an idea of yourself, your organisation, what you do, your experience, and also it's a good contact point, especially for those who are joining us today looking for other partners from across Europe. We also recommend that you add in any social media links. The UK National Support Service and our Central Support Service can include your details in any promotion around your uploaded content. So, for example, if you have a blog post, we can promote it using your Twitter handler, your Facebook handler, or we could share it on LinkedIn. It's also a great way for you to link up with others outside of the platform. So there's two tabs on here on your user profile. You've got the edit function box here. This will take you to a new page on your profile where you're able to edit any of your details at any time. All you need to do is simply click on save and it'll update your profile settings. One thing I'm just going to point out here is our group audience. So our group audience gives a list of your themes and sub-themes and some of the community practice and collaborative spaces that you have signed and subscribed for. We'll go into a bit more detail about those a bit later. I'm just also going to go down to your bottom tabs here. Now, one of the queries we had in advance was what happens when you submit content and what happens to that draft? Well, your draft gets sent into the back office for your designated National Support Service to publish. We'll go through some amended checks and then we'll publish your version to go live. You'll then see this go up onto your My Posts, where you'll see a full list as well as your activities of content that you've added to the platform. The National Support Service will get in contact with you once that has been promoted and live on the platform. So, going back to those themes and sub-themes I spoke about just before, If I just take you back to our home page, you'll see a list of options here about EPALE, community activities, themes and tools and portals. Now themes, if you'd use the drop down box here, will take you to our 5 key themes. Now this is a list of our tagging system so that all content can fall into these themes, breaking down into sizable chunks so people can then tag their relevant blog posts, news articles, events under the associated theme, and underneath that the sub-themes. So for example, I'll just take you to one that I signed up before. I'll take you to our learner support. You see on the top of the screen you have the function to leave the group. Obviously with each theme you have to subscribe to them. I do recommend exploring the themes and sub-themes first. Choose the groups that you're most interested in, subscribe to them, where then you can then look at all the latest discussions, relevant content, news articles, events, resources, blog posts. This is obviously open for those visiting the platform, but for you as a user, you'll be able to comment on the latest posts that have been uploaded, and also allows you to tag your content under the relevant theme and sub-theme. One of the sub-themes I subscribe to, social inclusion, under learner support. You see the page is slightly different. Under this, you'll have the latest discussions around this theme. You'll see a clear list on the right hand side. You also have a list of members, latest blog posts, articles and events. So I'll just go to the top here. As I said before, for those that you're not subscribed to, you can just click on get involved and it will ask you if you wish to subscribe to this theme. Just click on yes, and then you'll be taken back to, as I showed you before, on our learner support where you've already registered and subscribed to. Now, one of the handouts I have included into today's session is our EPALE 2016 calendar events. Now, each quarter, EPALE hosts a thematic discussion. Now, these depend on the key events and some of the key discussions that are happening within Europe. Recently, we did have our European Day of Languages, and we had a one-day discussion where we invited guest panelists, policymakers, those involved within languages and language learning, ESOL, to come and join the community, comment on some of the key issues coming from language learning. And it was one big celebration that amounted to over I believe it was 50 to 100 comments, as well as sharing content from across Europe. Along with this, you'll see a number of key dates, including International Day of Tolerance, International Day of Persons with Disabilities, International Volunteering Day, and these are key dates that we include that we can celebrate with adding content around the adult education sector. Our next thematic discussion will be on Vocational Education Training Week, Vet Week, Vet Skills Week, and that's from the 5th to the 9th of December. As I said, these are located, this handout is freely downloadable, and I suggest you visit the EPALE website coming those dates. Okay, so then we're going on to uploading content. So there's two ways you can go and upload content, and that's via your themes. click on Create Content, create on EPALE event. Or you can go back to the home page and click on Events. And this will take you to the screen here. Now with events, it gives a clear list of upcoming and past events. You have our open calendar here on the right hand side. And if you click on any of those dates with the blue marker, it'll show the upcoming dates for that date, upcoming events for that date. And then further down, you have the latest news articles. And as shown on the bar here, you have featured events. Now for those who want to upload a calendar event, as I said, if you go through your themes, under Create Content, select Create an Event. You'll be taken to this page for uploading your content. Now there is a helpful calendar entry guide, so I'll just show you now. And this takes you through all the information that you will need to complete. Now, as I've mentioned before, anything with an asterisk where you need to complete the fields, they are mandatory, so they do need completing. We do recommend that you try and complete as much information as you can. And this is applied for news articles, blogs, resources. So if I go back to the Create EPALE event, you fill your information in. It's always best practice to have a summary, and this applies for news articles, blog posts. And what this does for news articles and blog posts, it pulls it through onto the home page. So a nice, short, snappy, enticing introduction to bring in your audience to view your content is always recommended. Now, on both uploading resources, news articles, events, and blog posts, it will ask you to add in some tags, which I'll just show you now, just here. Now, as soon as you start typing a keyword, it will start. It will be automated, so it will start adding in suggested text. We recommend that you add in your theme and your sub-theme. Now, these are the ones that you've subscribed to, and any other keywords. Now, these keywords are searchable via the search tab at the top right-hand corner. And once you do that, it pulls for all the relevant content related to that. So, for example, adult education. If I typed in adult education in the search bar, it will also pull through your content if it's been attributed to that tag. Okay, so now I'm just going to take you to our Create an EPALE article. Once you start navigating around the site a lot more, you'll find that a lot of the format is similar across the platform. This is just to make it a bit more user-friendly. And I'll just point out that your body text, which is this box here, has a number of tools available for you as a user. Now then, we do recommend that you compose your article in a Word document with any links embedded, and then paste it into the article template. So paste it into the body text here using the W paste button. Now I'm just going to highlight that here. That's a little bit better. Just that one there. And this will preserve the original formatting. Now, a lot of the questions we do get through via the UK help desk, and also a lot of the queries that I support our users on and stakeholders is around images.
Now to do that, you use the Add Media button, which is the last tool function on that body of tools there. Now for this, what I have done is, because I wanted to just focus a little bit more on those, I have put them onto my slide, so I'm just going to take you back to those. There we go. So once you click onto that button, it will take you to the Add Media library, as it's such, well, tool. And here you'll be able to embed your image. So the separate window would have opened up, and you have three options. Now option 1 is upload, and this is upload from a file within your computer. So use your choose file, and then click on upload, and it will give you a list of file types that you can upload onto EPALE. You have option 2, which is upload from a URL that's from the web, and option 3, use a file that you've already previously uploaded. So that's clicking into the library. So we've clicked on option 3 from the library. What we do ask is for users to please note that about the copyright. So if you haven't been given permission on an image that you haven't uploaded, please don't use it. Obviously upload your images alone. And I would say there are some couple of tips and some support options that we can give you as a UK NSS. We do get quite a few queries regarding visuals. We do have a bank of images that we can support you on. We do have a Shutterstock account, and using that for those who are uploading blog posts and need an image just to add to the homepage or just to add that to that added little extra, we can support you on that. Often is the case that visuals can be hard to come by when creating content. However, there are a number of free photo download sites that are available for you to explore. I'm just going to pick out two that I've used previously from my experience. I know a couple of you may have used other sites before. One of them is Unsplash. That's about UNSPLASH. And I'll just send that to the entire audience. So you've got that, and of course I'll send this across to everybody in the follow-up in the Q&As. And what this is, it provides free high-resolution photos for those who are looking for that particular artistic touch within their content. A second one site that is useful is Pixabay. And for this is again free images and videos, but I do mention that please have a look at what images are sponsored, which are not. Some of these are from Shutterstock, and so you will need an account for them. Not many people realise, but you can also use Flickr to source images. It does take that little bit of added extra time to do a bit of research and what you're looking for. And also you need to ensure that those images are used appropriately. And when I say that, you need to credit those images to the photographer. However, it is worth the time to source those images. There is some great content out there. Okay. So once you've selected your image and you've clicked on submit, you'll be taken to this screen. So you'll have a larger picture of your chosen image above these fields here. Now I do recommend that you complete these. I know they're not marked with an asterisk, but I recommend that you type in the alternative text. So this is just when your image can't be loaded and say the viewer or the visitor to the site have got some difficulties using their browser window. And you tend to find when this happens you get a nice long code, and this tends to be the file path or the file name of your image. So rename it and rename it to appropriately so it matches up with the content of your article or blog post. So for example, if I used an image of a webinar, I'll call it, as I said, the text EPALE UK How-To Webinar. And again, add in a little bit of description for the title text. And this is for you, for those using their mouse hover over the image. And this just improves usability as well as searchability for your content. Now, one thing I did touch on upon briefly, I did mention, was translations. Now, we do support a number of translations, specifically blog posts, case studies, anything that is reachable to a wider audience. And we can support you on that. We can translate in Spanish, French, German, Polish, and Italian. But with that, you will also find that because there's 35 NSSs, and there is actually 24 linguistic versions of the platform, you'll find that your content will at times be translated in other languages. And this is just by other NSSs that feels like that your content is useful for their target audience, for residents within their country. So it's beneficial for you, and also shows how far your content is getting. When that does happen, we will notify you. Obviously, this is for those who are attending today's session from the UK. For those outside of the UK, it's down to the responsibility of your NSS to update you on this. So before we go to our communities of practice and some of the interactive elements of the platform, has anyone got any questions? Okay. We've got one comment here about the speed of the platform. Now, we have had quite a bit of feedback that's been done by our Central Support Service, and also from feedback from our users to the UK National Support Service. A lot of comments around the speed of the platform. This is being addressed by colleagues at the Commission, and so hopefully you'll find and you'll notice a speed in the site itself. We do say bear with us. It's a community space. As I said, with the amount of members we've got, there's a lot of content being added on there daily. If you visit the platform today on the homepage, guaranteed that the following day you'll see completely different content. This is what makes it unique, is that you get relevant, up-to-date content on the platform every day. But of course, if you are experiencing any difficulties, as I like to say, the door's always open, and we welcome your feedback and any queries you have. Okay. So we are now on our communities of practice. You can access this on our homepage. This tab here is accessible throughout the platform, and you can do this by using the drop-down button in Community of Activities. Excuse me. Sorry about that. On the Community Activities, and then click on Communities of Practice. Now, EPALE's Communities of Practice are online groups where people with similar interests from the adult learning sector can get together. All our communities are listed on EPALE under Community Activities, and there are currently 23 spaces that have been set up. Communities of practice can be requested by completing the Request a Community form. This is an online form, and this is just located, if I just mark it with my highlighter, and this is just located here. That's a bit squiggly. And this will open up to a new tab for you to then complete. So if I just take you to the request form. So similar to when you're uploading content that we went over briefly on a news article, blog posts, and also events, you'll see a number of fields that need completing with the asterisks. So you need the name of the community, the purpose of this group, your target audience, and this is selected using the drop-down menu, the themes that it addresses, so this would be the 5 themes, and then the administrator/moderator. Once you've done that, you need to click the as group administrator or agree. This is just so that you abide by a couple of the rules about the management of this community of practice. And once you've done that, click on submit. Now, after doing some initial checks, ensure that the request is not a duplicate. The Central Support Service will create the community of practice. They just want to ensure that, say for example, a community group set up on around SOL is not being repeated. It's just to encourage collaboration with others and to ensure that no duplicates are then replicated, and that sharing of ideas and top tips are shared into one group, because it's benefit at the end of the day. These community of practices are open and they benefit not just those who've set up the group, but also the wider audience. And then once you've created it and it's been checked, the person who requested the community of practice will receive a notification confirming its creation, and then notifying them that they will be appointed as the administrator moderator. You also then receive a guidance note on how to use the community space. And once it's been set up, you can then access it via the community activities. Now I'm just going to set that drop down. And as an example, I have subscribed to the EBSN, the European Basic Skills Network forum. And for that, I'm just going to take you into there. And this is what the communities of practice will look like. Okay. So these communities of practice are set up to discuss project ideas and top tips, and it's really beneficial for those who are taking part, for those who are interested in any project ideas, if they want to improve the quality of their application, and also to create working groups. So here I've just clicked onto one of the communities of practice from the EBSN, and this is one of their groups they created as part of some of their discussions they're hosting online on EPALE. And these are open up for discussion, and it's a great way for you to take part in discussions, any of the key issues that are facing the sector today. Now then, what I'd like to just highlight on EBSN is that they are hosting a number of future events via the communities of practice. This is around family learning and also adult literacy. The family learning is from the 8th, I believe from the 8th to the 10th of November. And the adult numeracy discussion is being hosted from the 29th to the 29th of November to the 1st of December. And these are around about the latest discussions and some of the latest blog posts can feed into this. Some of the topics are coming out from these conversations. Even video interviews with key experts, policymakers within the field. And it's a really good area for you to pick up on some of the policy that's been developed in that area. Some of practitioners with their experience, as well as joining the wider community of EPALE. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just going to take you to our partner search. And again, you can get to this page via the home page by clicking on the partner search tab, which is on the left-hand side, just underneath our carousel. So I'll just take you back to there. Fantastic. Now the aim of the partner search is to exchange ideas and create networking opportunities with individuals or organisations. The EPALE partner search can be used to find organisations and individuals who are interested in collaborating with other organisations. You can search by country, activity, organisation type to find the ideal partners. The search can be refined further by using advanced search to look for key topics of interest. And it can be used by any organisation wishing to set up a partnership. So far there are 380 organisations registered on the partner search. You find some of the latest one on the top half of the page, and as I mentioned before, you can use our built-in feature here at the top of the page to search that something particular that you're interested or you're looking for. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly take you through adding in your information on there. So if I just click back, so if you want to click onto add your organisation, it will take you to your create organisation, and as I said before, on the rest of the areas where you need to add content, there's anything marked with an asterisk, please complete. The more information, the better. So this could be a specific request to partners. Sorry, this is specific for when you're creating your organisation. Try and fill as much detail as before, as I mentioned before. In your edit summary, as I mentioned about articles and blog posts, make it short and snappy and to the point and what you're looking for. Say what about your organisation. And then once you've completed all the relevant fields, including the activities and interests you're interested in, once you've completed that, click on Save. And then once it's gone through, you'll see that it will then be added to that list. And then the same applies when you're creating your request for a partner. Now here's slightly different. If you need to add in your the date of publication is by default, so the date that the request is first saved onto the platform, and then up to the date that you want it to last till. So it gives you that time frame for organisations to contact you. As I said before, we'd recommend to complete this the body text with as much information as possible. Be specific. This helps build trust Outline the needs, so outline your needs, what type of collaboration you'd like to be involved in, and also what you expect from a potential partner. And here it gives you some advanced options in terms of where your partners, what particular partners you're looking for in terms of location. Again, activities, what you're looking for. And then also the additional of languages. And once you've completed that, click on Save. Okay. So then going back to our partner search section. I will just point out there is an about the partner search. It's useful if you're new to this, especially for those who join us who are new to EPALE. This would be useful for yourselves to get familiar with the site, this area of the site. And then lastly, the last one I want to touch upon regarding our interactive spaces is our collaborative space. Now, and for this, once you've clicked onto that, I'll just take you back, sorry. You need to click on the Request a Collaborative Space, and it will take you to the Collaborative Space request form. Now, collaborative spaces provide users and stakeholders with a dedicated area on EPALE, which allows them to upload documents, start discussions and forums, share news, and highlight relevant events in the specific group calendar. These are membership only, which means that even as the NSS, we don't have access to, unless of course we're invited. But that's not necessary. This is designed to keep this for yourself. So if you've already got a partnership already established and you're looking for a central space to share documents or to have your conversation saved in one area, we all know how difficult it is sometimes to scale through multiple emails. This is a great place to set up this sort of area of communication. You've got one location for your discussions, one location for any key documents you're sharing across the partnership, and it's also secure. So it's only membership only, and when I mean by membership only, it means that you have you're in charge as the moderator of this group to invite and also to remove members from this collaborative space. Now, again, as with all forms and all fields that need completing, complete those with an asterisk, and again, click on the community rules and press submit. Now, as we're not a member of a collaborative space, I'm just going to take you to the helpful guide that you get sent once you've received confirmation that your request has been set up. And this is part of the handout again that I've included in today's session. And this is sent by the Central Support Service once your space has been set up. Now this guide just takes you through some of the key functions that you would be using and also gives you an overall of your responsibility to manage the group. So we have our welcome. Again, this is similar to the communities of practice in terms of the responsibility as the administrator of managing the practice or the collaborative space. Now then, in your collaborative space homepage, as we will call it, similar to as we've seen on the communities of practice, you have a number of tabs. So the home will give you the latest content being any discussions, any documents, any news articles that have been added on there. You'll see news, so that's a separate breakdown just on news articles, again with events, again with documents, separate breakdowns, discussions, and then finally members. Gives an overview of getting started with your space. And this is important because this is the area where you need to create your group. So this again, membership, where you can add members. Click on the tab to add people. And then start adding users. Now, for users, they do have to be registered on EPALE. So if you have a partnership EPALE set up, and it doesn't have to be a pan-European partnership, it could be a national partnership if you're working in a specific field. It's good for them to be signed up to EPALE. Send them an email, get them registered, and then they can get access to this central location. And as I said, this user guide will give you a good overview of some of the key things you need to think about when managing this collaborative space, managing membership. That includes deleting members, as you'll find further down, and also moderating the content that's been put up on there. And again, further down, if you need assistance, we do recommend contacting the Central Support Service. And the email is just at the bottom of this document. So anyway, we're starting to draw to a close for the session. The last thing I want to just run through is discussions and commenting. One of the benefits of EPALE is this community feeling that you get on here, and this is by individuals from across Europe commenting on your content. It's one of the things that I find most enjoyable. You get to connect with other people from across Europe. Now, to create a discussion, you can do it a number of ways. As before, you can go back into your selected theme or sub-theme, use that drop-down Create Content function button, and create EPALE discussion. Again, once you've clicked onto that, it'll give you a number of fields that you need to complete with an asterisk. Those are mandatory, those are ones with an asterisk to say. And I do recommend that you be clear in terms of what the discussion is about, some of the aims and objectives, some of the issues you may have found in your field of work. If you've completed a project, this is a great opportunity for you to disseminate it, discuss your outputs with the wider community. One of the other benefits of having this option to add comments is when you get to comment on other users' blog posts on their content. Now, I'm just going to take you as a case study example, Rosemount Lifelong Learning. This is an external stakeholder that produced a top tips. This was originally found on the Rosemount Lifelong Learning website, and we found this was really beneficial as part of our Migrant Education Week. This is one of our thematic discussions, as I mentioned earlier, that happen quarterly. Now you'll find on here, if I scroll down, that you can add new content, add a new comment, shall I say, and it'll automatically come up with your name, the subject, so in terms of what area you want to discuss about that piece, excuse me, and then the comment. And then just up further at the top, I just want to point out what I discussed earlier about translations. You'll see the language of the document on the left-hand side, so this is in English, and then also the different versions available. And this is just going back to what I said about what I enjoy about this pan-European community. Is if I select one of these, so for example, if I go into Polish, I'm just going to let that load up. Just click on no for that. And I said this is one of the, we translated this into Polish. You'll also have a number of other languages on the top right here. If I just scroll further down, you start to see some of the comments being made by users in Poland, and they're sharing their stories, they're sharing their experience. This is one of the great things about the EPALE platform, is that some of the work that you may feel is just relevant for your area, area of work, in terms of your region as well. Some of these issues or some of the key points that you're addressing are relevant to others from across Europe. And so I do recommend that if you're interested in having your piece translated, if it's a blog post that you want to go further afield, please feel free to get in contact and we'll be happy to review and to discuss further. So I said, in terms of comments, I've just took you back up to the top. If I take you back down, you have that a nice list of comments from people who've added in there. And what I'm going to just do is now take you back to the home page. And there we go. And then just lastly on discussions, you'll also see the latest and top discussions on the right-hand side of the home page. Now these are the discussions that have been created by users. You'll see a couple of these on here. And this is the one on the EPALE discussion on European Day of Languages. 111 comments from user stakeholders on the platform. And this is users sharing their ideas from across Europe and even further beyond that. Lastly, I just want to highlight one additional item. Now, I mentioned about the linguistic versions. Now, this is the English linguistic version, as you can see. If you use the top right-hand side for the drop-down, you can select any of these. For me, I find it really useful to find out what's happened elsewhere across Europe within this sector. So I'm just going to click onto our German linguistic version onto that page. Just going to let that load up. And then you'll find that the content is actually slightly different, so it's not duplicated across there. Some items, as I said before, are translated across that I found useful, but you also find specific content for that region, for a specific region within that country, around policy, and also to some of the things that are happening there. Here we go. See a couple of these that are noticeable. The discussions are pulled through as with the events. As you see already on our homepage, and this is the carousel, you see some of the items coming up there that you necessarily wouldn't have seen in the English version. And when you click into one of those items, you can use the Google Translate. Now, sometimes it's not 100% accurate, but it does, however, give you a good idea as it's best it can be translated, and some of the work that's been done across Europe. And on that note, in terms of about the community platform, we're now come to the end of today's webinar session.